Welcome back to another episode of Fhs Season Tickets. I'm Nick.
And I'm Michael.
And we're going to be heading into all of Fairview sports topics and sports topics around the nation. First, we're going to be heading into Fairview football, though, and we pulled out a clutch win against Oberlin Phoenix. Garrett Mack showdown. That was a really rough start in the first half. Went down 19-0, I think. Then we came back, ended up winning 20-19. It was awesome. It felt like a Fairview win because we went up against Garrett Mack and we held that L to Garrett Mack.
It was a victory for the school and the football team and everyone who dislikes Garrett Mack in our school. Yeah. Down 19-0, the comeback. John McQuaid with 2 touchdown receptions thrown by Tommy McNamara. A great catch on 4th down and 10. Just fantastic. And Garrett Mack asked me after the game if they won, and I was like, no means no. And now we're going to jump into Fairview volleyball. They did lose twice in straight sets this week, once to Columbia, who's a very good team, and once to Oberlin, who's not a very good team.
So now we're going to head into the soccer programs, and both boys and girls actually got the win last night. It was awesome. Oberlin just not that stiff of competition. We actually can predict it yesterday that they were going to win. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Oberlin. Basically knew we were going to win back on Wednesday. So, Oberlin just not that stiff of competition. Girls won their 6th straight PAC conference. And boys,
congratulations to them. Mary Beth, we don't have to roast you on the show for saying that you're going to win your side, so you got lucky with that one. But the boys finished in 2nd place in their side, only behind Lutheran West, so another very strong season for them. Hopefully they do well in the playoffs. They start off with Cloverleaf, a team they already beat 5-0 in the playoffs, and after they hopefully beat them, they'll be taking on Buckeye at home in a big game.
So now we're going to head into the volleyball team, and they're going to actually be wrapping up their conference play against Brooklyn. This is actually a game to decide if we're going to tie for 3rd place with Brooklyn, or if we win straight out, it's going to be we're winning the 3rd place overall on our conference, in our conference side. And Brooklyn is actually only 1 game behind us, I believe. So it's not going to be that easy of a game. I would usually say. I would never think that Brooklyn would be close to even in any sport because they're just not good at almost anything other than like golf. I think they have a state golfer.
They do. I saw that on the PAC website.
Yeah, girls are actually coming off a 3-set loss to Oberlin, which was pretty upsetting considering I thought in the beginning of the year our team was going to be just up there in the conference, and losing to Oberlin 3 sets is just not a good look for our program. But Mike, what are we going on to next?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the football team. They take on Clearview at home, final home game of the season. Just a big game for the football team, 2-0 in conference play.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just continue playing well. Hopefully they can stay undefeated. That would be great for the football program. And Nick, I heard the cross-country team has a conference meet. When is that?
Yeah, the cross-country conference meet is coming up, and we're very hopeful for the boys to win the conference, and maybe even the girls can slip in there. But definitely we're pinning our hopes on the boys to win conferences and then maybe move on to maybe even districts later on.
Yeah, hopefully maybe Connor or Ellie can have top 5 finishes in the conference.
Yep.
Hopefully the boys' team can get first place. And now we're going to hop into our college football picks for the big games in today's weekend. And we actually are joined by a guest. I have my friend Murphy from Sports Broadcasting Camp. Murphy, would you like to say hello?
Hello.
So we're going to jump into the first game. Murphy, you're going to go last, so we're all going to discuss the games. Starting off, first game, Alabama versus Tennessee. I'm going to go with Alabama, but I think it's a very close game. The spread has gone from Tennessee being an 8-point underdog to a 13-point underdog. I think that's way too much. This was a close game in Tuscaloosa last year, and I think that Joshua Dobbs has a big game on the ground, even though Alabama is only giving up 52 rushing yards to quarterbacks so far this year. I still think that he has a fairly solid game on the ground. He over doubles that number. But I do think Alabama gets a close victory. Nick, who do you have?
Bama, Christian?
Yeah, I got Alabama. I think Tennessee has a lot of
What are you
talent,
going to say?
But yeah.
It's Bama.
Everyone's cutting out Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised if they won it, though. I think it'll be a close game. I'm with Mike.
It's Bama.
Murphy, who do you have?
I had to go with the Tide in this one. Looked very impressive all year. Tennessee, they're a bit inexperienced. Alabama's better in big games. They're dominant running the ball. Jalen Hurts is having a great year. I have to go with the Tide to win this one.
I always get confused with Jalen Hurd and Jalen Hurts. Their names are
I
just
know.
so similar.
They sound similar. I meant Hurts.
Yeah, I know you meant Hertz, but like when you said it, I was like
Yeah.
thinking Herd and Hertz at the same time.
Right.
But I knew who you were referencing. That's gonna be
Okay.
confusing for like the announcer. They're
That's
gonna.
not the first time that's happened.
No, it is not. But now they're playing each other, so
Right.
direct competition. Nick, what's the next game? Another SEC battle?
Yeah, another SEC battle, another SEC clash. This one I think is going to be closer. Ole Miss, Arkansas. I mean, I've liked Arkansas all year, even though, I don't know, like they're run-heavy team. Ole Miss is a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to pick Ole Miss after what they've done this past. Like they bounced back from Florida State win, and they've been playing. Or Florida State lost to Florida State. They've been playing like much better. I forget who did they blow out again.
They just blew out Georgia.
They
You
blew out
always want to
Georgia.
forget about that game
Yeah.
because you picked Georgia in that
Yeah,
game.
I just need to forget that game, that pick. But we're moving on. Ole Miss, I'm picking you. Don't let me down. Mike, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Ole Miss as well. They're super talented across the board. They got their 2 losses out of the way against Alabama and
Yeah.
also Florida State. They said before the year Chad Kelly wanted to go undefeated. I kind of laughed at him. But now Chad Kelly's saying he wants to go undefeated the rest of the year. Bit more realistic.
laughing, yeah.
I'm not really laughing at him. I was laughing at him saying that he was going to win the Heisman and Ole Miss is going 15-0 and being national champions. But enough of that. I do think that Ole Miss does get the victory over Arkansas. I think it's a very high-scoring game. Hugh Freeze and Brett Bielema have great offensive squads, not great defensive squads. Peplin,
Right.
who do you have?
I got Ole Miss. They came off a big win against Georgia, and I think they just carried into this game.
Murphy, who do you have?
I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss. They've been hot. Arkansas lost 2 of 3. They just struggled a bit, but Chad Kelly's been dominating for Ole Miss. I have to go with the Rebels.
Yeah, Arkansas has lost 2 straight. Those are two great teams in Alabama and Texas A&M. Peplin, what's the final game?
We got Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Who do you got, Mike?
I'm going to go with Ohio State in this one. I think this is a bad matchup for Wisconsin. The Buckeyes, with speed and young talent everywhere, I think they dominate this game. I don't really think it's that close. I got the Buckeyes in a big-time win.
Yeah, I'm going to Ohio State, too. Ohio State's a bad matchup for anyone in the Big Ten. Basically everyone in the country other than the few select teams like
Yeah,
the
Michigan,
Alabamas
Clemson,
of the world.
and Alabama.
No,
are really
Michigan,
the only
it's a
ones
bad
that can
matchup
match
for
up.
Michigan. No,
You think it is too?
yeah.
I think
It's a
Michigan
bad
can
matchup.
compete at the outside with guys
Michigan's
like Jabril
so
Peppers.
overrated this year, it's unreal. But anyways, that's tough for another time.
I'm
Mike's
sure,
getting a little
I'm sure
bit heated on
Murphy
that.
will have some choice words about Michigan, but I won't let
Yeah.
him speak till.
No,
Peplin
yeah,
makes
so
his pick.
Ohio State just super speed oriented, super just talent oriented. They managed to lose a majority of their secondary from last year and get better. It's insane. Defense and offense doing great things. JT Barrett staying in the Heisman conversation. Christian, who do you got?
Yeah, I have to go with Ohio State. JT Barrett's been playing great, and there's just the whole team's just there's just so much talent. Like
Yeah.
you can't really like
Compete.
yeah, you just can't compete or beat it. Like
Mm-hmm.
so that's that.
Okay, Murphy, I'm sure I know who you're going to pick, but
Yeah,
just
well,
confirm
being
it
so
for
calm,
us.
You know I'm never going to pick against Ohio State, but of course I got to go with the Buckeyes. JT Barrett, 2 of his best games have come on big road games. You remember 2014 against the Spartans, and then in Ann Arbor last year. Wisconsin's pass game is average. Ohio State's super talented. I have to go with the Buckeyes.
Now we're going to get into our segment where we talk about the NFL. Mike, can you get us started?
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers. Last year they did make the Super Bowl. They went 15-1 in the regular season. This year they've started off 1-4. What's going wrong with the Panthers, and how much should they be panicking about not only this season but maybe next season as well?
I think they should be panicking like a lot just because like they over the past few seasons Cam Newton is about to hit that 100 mark for carries. They've been making him run it too often on like the bootlegs and all that, and I think they should make him stay in the pocket a little bit more. Not all the time because he's deadly as a runner, but like they're using him too much as a runner, and I think that's hurting them as a team.
Yeah, definitely relying way too much on Cam Newton. Also, just had that magical season last year. Lost in the Super Bowl, really deflated their program, I feel like, their franchise. And just the reliance on Cam Newton, that's just going to wear him down. We saw a little bit of the evidence last year of just his usage rates being just so much up. Now they lost Josh Norman. I'm not really sure how that affected them way too much, but he was also a heart and soul of their team. So he was at least like a heart of their team.
Josh Norman he was the heart and the soul, but like he was the man who would cover the best player, and he wasn't going to let them light him up.
Right.
And like
Just
Julio
brought that
Jones,
swagger and
300
attitude.
yards on him.
Yeah.
Whoever plays for
just-
Buccaneers,
yeah, just
Mike
Mike
Evans,
Evans, yeah.
tore him up.
Yeah, they just run into those type of problems that just they didn't have last year, and now they're having, and they're not handling it so far.
Yeah, I think that Josh Norman was almost a lose-lose for both parties.
Yeah.
He's not like doing great in Washington right now, and also the Panthers really missed him. There was no reason for him to leave either because like they were giving him as much as he really wanted, but it was still a great situation for Josh Norman.
Well, he is 28. I mean, maybe 29 by now, and that was going to be probably the last big contract he was going to get. So he just wants that money because he's not going to be
cashing
good.
out.
Yeah, he's definitely cashing out because he knows.
Decline.
Yeah, he knows there's going to be a decline. He's 28 years old. He's not like a 21-year-old phenom right now.
Yeah, but I also think that if he would have stayed in Carolina, he could have stayed being one of the best corners in the league for the next couple of years and could have gotten a bigger next contract than maybe.
Well, he kept on being
now.
screwed over by the Panthers by getting franchise tagged, which and they weren't going to give him the money. It looked like, so why not cash out now with the Washington? Like, just get that money. That's what Darrelle Revis has been doing his whole career. And it's been
I think there was like some internal conflict that we didn't see.
Yeah,
they
sure.
didn't want Josh Norman to be like Josh Norman usually is. They wanted him to like calm down.
Yeah.
Not get like talk to people like that.
Yeah, not be
and
himself.
all that.
So.
And I think he just kind of got hurt because that's just who he is.
I also think the
person.
Panthers really overachieved last year. They even did it without their best receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, last year. And I thought with him, their offense would be even more explosive than it was last year. I really don't know how their offense was so good last year because they don't have a great offensive line. It's probably above average in the NFL.
They just had the best year that Cam Newton will ever have.
Yeah, Cam Newton was
Stewart
amazing,
was having
but
a great year too.
their running backs aren't like
they're
Adrian Peterson
underperforming.
or crazy. And then their best receiver last year was like Ted Ginn Jr. Like that wasn't a loaded offense, and they just played really well. So I think eventually their luck kind of ran out on them. I mean, obviously with Derek Anderson starting quarterback in Monday Night Football, that gave them some difficulty. Starting off 1-4 and with the Falcons at 4-1, I don't see any way that they're going to be able to even compete for the division title, and I think that they're probably not even going to come very close to a wild card berth this season.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to be talking about is the NFL ratings decline and also talking about quarterbacks in the NFL. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is about the ratings decline. What do you think the decline has been? Basically, what's the main reason that there's been a ratings decline? About 10 to 15% of the NFL this season. Do you think the Colin Kaepernick protest has anything to do to it, or is there some other reasons why people just aren't watching?
Well, I'm just definitely thinking that there's not that big story or those big just the stories that are going on. When you look in the NBA, you have set up this. I feel like this is going to be a boom in ratings because you have just the Cavs versus Warriors underlying. You got an exciting Knicks team. You just got plenty of little Lakers and Sixers teams that you might want to watch. You just have so many just stories in the NBA going on. In the NFL, we don't see that. We also don't see that many exciting teams right now. We don't see that many like new edgy teams. We see like the same old teams, and it's like really defensive based right now. The Falcons are like the number one offensive team, and no one's really watching them either. So I just think that it has to do with just the way the NFL is just like the defense, also the quarterback decline that we're going to be talking about later in this episode. That has to do a lot with it because those main positions, like we see in the NBA, big point guards attract big amount of viewers.
Basically stars,
big quarterback,
like not just point guards.
Stars. Just stars in the NBA, which relates to in the NFL, the quarterbacks are the biggest stars. That has to do with it, and there's just no story going on in the NFL right now that anyone really wants to watch.
Besides just the drama. But I think like the physicality, like since they're trying to like reduce that, all the big hits and all that stuff, that's what people really want to see, someone get lit up. But, like, that's not happening anymore without getting, like, a 15-yard flag thrown and all that, or personal foul and all that. And there's no trash talking or nothing. As soon as you see another person go another person on a different team, it's like they're already throwing the flag, personal foul. You do that again, you're already kicked out. So no player's going to risk that. And, like, it's kind of boring because there's no, like, edginess going on. And I think another reason is people just don't like Roger Goodell. It's just the fact. No one likes him. He just abuses his power.
Yeah, you guys didn't really mention the Kaepernick thing. I think it has a really slight, out of the 10 to 15%, I'd say Kaepernick is probably like 2 to 3% that is due to him. Because there have been people that have said that, like, they're boycotting the NFL besides their one favorite team every single week because of how Goodell has treated it, which, I don't know, doesn't totally make sense to me, but that they are people, and that's losing money for the NFL. They're losing viewers, but also their quarterbacks just can't seem to stay healthy. You have Cam Newton not being able to stay healthy, Tony Romo not being able to stay healthy, Peyton Manning just retiring. The league's only unbeaten team is quarterbacked by Sam Bradford. Could you imagine saying that?
Those aren't stories there, you know? Like, last year they had Cam Newton as, like, leading the undefeated team. That's fun to watch. You have him doing Superman. You have Sam Bradford just being uneventful as Sam Bradford always is. That's just how you want to watch entertainment. This year's not entertaining, you know?
No, and Monday Night Football was a perfect example of that. Derek Anderson versus Jameis Winston was horrible.
All I've seen on my
just
updates,
a bunch of 3-and-outs, punts, and just
all I've been seeing on
MLB baseball was much more exciting than
when can you ever say I'm not a baseball fan, but I will never catch myself saying this baseball game was so like 10 times more exciting than a football or basketball game.
I'm with Nick on this one.
I'm never catch myself saying that. No.
So did either of you guys watch Monday Night Football?
I watched the first half and then I just tuned out.
Did you watch? You didn't watch them either?
All I saw on my updates was another MNF sleeper because I saw that happening on. It was like last Thursday, I think there was another sleeper that went on.
Yeah, there was another horror. It was the Niners versus Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. Another horror. Drew Stanton versus Blaine Gabbert. These primetime games are so bad this year. Like we get to see Derek Anderson take on Jameis Winston. And Blaine Gabbert take on
Drew Stanton.
That's the problem with the NFL. Their quarterbacks, they're just so bad. And even some of the guys that are starting aren't even great in college. Right. Which, is fascinating. Like, Trevor Siemian was horrible in college. Paxton Lynch.
Dude, we got to get, a Trevor Siemian poster. We bring him up almost every episode. Trevor Siemian, we're, sponsoring you right now.
Yeah, but you know
That's
what?
a success story.
He's so much better than Paxton Lynch in the NFL. It almost makes no sense. The best quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady, backup quarterback at Michigan. Big Ben, played in the MAC. Who are some other examples? Just
Drew Brees. He played at
Drew Brees played at Purdue.
Yeah.
Just quarterbacks are so bad in the NFL right now, and defenses are so far ahead, and people don't want to see boring grind out games. They don't want to see Sam Bradford being undefeated.
It's like a copycat league. All the quarterbacks are trying to copy each other, and the defense catches on quickly, and that's what defenses do too. But it is what it is.
And the next thing we're going to be talking about is kind of tying into the quarterbacks. The Patriots have a great situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's right now sitting behind Tom Brady. Do you guys think the Patriots should cash in on Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you think they could get a first-round pick for him right now? And if so, which team would be willing to trade a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo this year?
I don't think they could get a first-round pick. I think they could get a second or third-round pick, but I don't think he's worth the first-round pick because you would have to see him how he does without the Patriots, because the Patriots just got that effect on everyone. They're just gonna take some trash player and turn him into a star. But yeah, I think they would get a second or third round pick. I don't think they should trade him because if Brady gets hurt or they're up to their old deeds of cheating, then and Brady gets suspended again. I think they should just keep him.
Yeah, I don't think they should. They shouldn't cash in right now. I mean, they still can. I mean, definitely a team this offseason who's crazy stuff happens on draft day. Have Jimmy Garoppolo this season, solid backup, and wait till all the madness starts on draft day. That's what I'm just saying. His stock is only going to rise on the bench. There's not going to be anything that deters him. Not going to get injured. He's going to be in that Patriot system. The GMs are going to lick their chops trying to get him for sure because it's a quarterback league. As we've said, there's not that many quarterbacks right now in the league that are doing good. So wait till draft day. If you could get a first rounder, that's great. Second or third round, definitely maybe an added fourth or fifth. I think you wait for that in the offseason. You move on Jimmy in the offseason.
I think you guys are criminally underrating Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, look at the number 1 overall pick this year. He's not even dressing on half a game days.
Yeah.
He's sitting behind Case Keenum.
Yeah, but that's also potential that you're banking on for Garoppolo.
You've seen Jimmy
look at their
Garoppolo
O-line,
play
too,
4
though.
NFL
Yeah.
games and look
Rams
fantastic.
line
and
is
agree
just
with him.
terrible.
Yeah, that's
So do you
what-
think
that's what
the
Patriots
Rams made a
program.
huge mistake in trading up to get Jared Goff?
No, I don't. No, 'cause it wasn't even like they're gonna be great with the pick they were with before. But if they, I don't know. I just think they need to pick up some O linemen and protect their QB because that's what they're lacking. They
Yeah,
got the playmakers.
I think a team like the Rams or the Bears, or I'm not sure, maybe a couple other teams that can need a quarterback.
I think the Cardinals could trade for
The Rams don't need a quarterback.
Garoppolo
They
or something
have
like that.
Jared Goff on the bench. They want to see how that works out. It's only his rookie year.
I mean, they're saying that he can't learn the playbook and that he's just doing bad, which is really shocking seeing
Yeah.
the number 1 draft pick sit on the bench. That's another thing that you mentioned, stories.
Yeah.
The number 1 overall draft pick is doing absolutely nothing.
And
It's
no
just
one's
like
talking about him at
the
all.
Kansas City Chiefs year when they took Eric
Mhm.
Fisher. He didn't really play that much. But the
That
Chiefs
was
are
an
actually much
O-lineman, though.
improved. And they
Yeah.
made the playoffs. The Rams are doing pretty well this year. They're sitting at 3-2, so that's another team that is boring, but is doing well this year.
Yeah.
It's honestly a shame to the league that so many of these defensive teams are doing well, and that
Dude.
product right now on offense is
I don't even
really
care.
bad.
Again, like I said, Browns are doing bad. I'm not trying to watch the NFL. I'm just trying to watch the NBA, and I'm trying to watch the Cleveland sports do good. Trying to watch college football because that's more exciting than the NFL tenfold this year. So I'm just waiting for the Browns to be good. Then the ratings can skyrocket. Hey, I'll be fine. Just watch the Cleveland Browns do good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Browns, the only winless team in the NFL. I think it's almost amazing that every team in the NFL has a win but one, and every team in the NFL already has a loss except for one.
So now we're going to talk about the Indians, a bit of baseball on FHS season tickets. I need to bring on some people on the show because none of my other co-hosts are some baseball guys. So Murphy's staying on. We're going to talk about the Indians. Let's talk about the matchup with the Blue Jays. How do you expect this to play out, especially starting off Game 1? What do you think is going to happen?
Game 1, I think, is a crucial matchup for the Tribe. Obviously, it's in the Tribe's favor with Kluber going up against Marco Estrada. Game 1's critical, but I think this will be a very competitive series. Indians won the series 4-3 in the regular season. They played in some very competitive games. You remember the series in August in Cleveland, all 3 one-run games, and of course the 19-inning game. I think this will be a very competitive series, and this series has a chance to go the distance.
Yeah, I was going to mention the regular season. Just some crazy matchups with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolutely,
The
yeah.
19-inning game was the one everybody thinks about. But then the day after, there was another very close game. Toronto actually broke the Indians.
Replay game, yes.
What do you know what the streak was at? Was it at 15 games?
Well, the game. Are you talking about the game they lost?
Yeah, the game they lost after the 19 inning.
Yeah, after we won, the winning streak was 14 games.
The winning streak was 14. Okay, yeah, they broke that streak, and that was a very intense game, losing the streak. 19-inning game. You mentioned the series in Cleveland. And also, Cleveland and Toronto was really close, so I expect a good amount of visiting fans at each of the games. I expect a good amount of Cleveland fans to go up to Toronto and Toronto fans in Cleveland. There were a lot of Toronto fans in Cleveland. I saw a couple comments on Bleacher Report of Blue Jays fans saying that they went to Cleveland for the series against the Indians, and they really enjoyed being in Cleveland. And this is before the Indians clinched. Yeah, so should be... What were you going to say?
Although I don't know about that, because against the Red Sox, a team that traditionally also travels well in Cleveland, based on the TV, and I wasn't there, but based on the TV, it looks like 95% of the crowd there is cheering for the Indians. But I mean, Toronto, they have all of Canada behind them. They travel like the Yankees and the Red Sox now, so I don't know.
Yeah, distance between the two teams is really close. It's almost become a rivalry. Like one of Indians' main rivals has become the Blue Jays.
Intense series this year.
Yeah, and Game 1 with Kluber on the mound, I think this is almost a must-win for the Tribe if they're going to win the series, because I can't see the Indians falling behind 2-1 and coming back to win the series, because I think the first 3 games are crucial. I think whichever team goes up 2-1 or 3-0 is going to win the series. If we can get 2 victories with Kluber, then I think the Indians are set. I think they'll be able to get 2 with guys like Tomlin or Bauer, but if Kluber goes 1-1, I'm not really liking our chances. What's your opinion on the Tribe going with Kluber and then some form of Bauer and Tomlin for games 2 and 3, and then projecting to start Clevenger for game 4? Do you like that for game 4, or do you disagree with it?
Clevenger, I'm not a fan. Well, of course, I don't like it, but the Tribe's rotation's somewhat depleted, so you almost have to. You cannot go with a 3-man rotation in the playoffs. I like going Kluber, Bauer, Tomlin, game 3.
Yeah, I actually thought that before, obviously, Danny Salazar and Carlos Carrasco went down, that the Indians were right at the Cubs level for how good that they were. And also the Indians...
pitching, yes.
And pitching, and our offense is really underrated. Like, not a lot of people gave us the Indians' offense a lot of credit. They had the second most runs in the American League, and also they just scored a ton of runs, and I feel like people are forgetting that. This Indians' offense was really great. Some career years from some players like Mike Napoli and Jose Ramirez, and also Coco Crisp has been huge in the latter part of the year. I really have to applaud the Indians' front office for the first time in a while. Made some great moves at the deadline. I think if we had Jonathan Lucroy too, somebody who I had some choice words with when he declined his move to Cleveland and wanted to go to a winner. That winner's sitting at home right now, but, that's none of my business. What's your opinion on the moves for Brandon Guyer and also, more importantly, Andrew Miller, and how do you think Miller's going to impact the series?
Oh, Miller, he's going to impact the series greatly. I mean, this is kind of bold, but if the Indians win the World Series, I think the Miller trade could be the best trade that we've ever made. And I really love Brandon Guyer. He's absolutely torched left-handed pitching this year. He's been more of a weapon than anyone ever thought he could be. But I think the front office has done an exceptional job, especially with Mike Napoli, who I was thinking we could have gotten 20 home runs out of him, but he's definitely exceeded expectations. This has been a great year for the Tribe's front office.
Yeah, I'm usually very critical about any team's front office. In Cleveland and just in general, I'm usually very critical, but I can't say anything but good words about the Indians front office this year. How they just assembled the roster and how they created this powerhouse of a team right now has just been fantastic. They've also obviously gotten some help from some guys being better than expected. First one that comes to mind, obviously, Francisco Lindor having a fantastic season. I think that signing him for the long future and keeping Lindor and Kipnis in the center is going to be a key for the Indians if they want to be returning to the playoffs year after year. Murphy, I'm going to ask you for a prediction right now. Indians, Blue Jays, who you have advancing to the World Series?
I'm going to have to go Indians in 6.
I did think that the Indians were going to lose in this round to Toronto when the division series began. I thought we were going to beat the Red Sox and then lose to Toronto. But now I like our odds a lot more, so I think I'm going to go with the Indians here. I think it's going to go the distance, 7 games. I think in a game 7 at home, I think the Indians are going to get the victory. Changing my prediction for the good of Cleveland. And the final thing, you're from Columbus. You've been a Blue Jackets fan for a while, and the Blue Jackets haven't been popular at all in the Columbus area. How do you think Columbus Blue Jackets can get more popular besides the one obvious answer, making the playoffs and winning some games?
Well, obviously, the Blue Jackets, they've only existed for 16 years. They only have 2 playoff appearances.
Which is horrible.
The reason why the Browns, but the reason why the Browns and the Indians have solid fan bases is because both of those teams won at once. You have the Browns in the 50s, the 60s, Indians the 40s, 50s, the 90s. But the Blue Jackets are going to have to win to build a fan base in Columbus. Honestly, here it's very small. I'm looking at their TV ratings. They only get 8,200 households a night watching them. So they're not popular here, but I do think there's more potential for hockey in Columbus than what there is for, say, Phoenix or South Florida.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really made the strong connection of the Blue Jackets going to Columbus. Maybe it's because it's such an Ohio State town, and
Oh, yeah.
I didn't expect hockey to pick up, and it really hasn't. I mean, obviously, if the Blue Jackets were a perennial contender, then hockey would be a lot more popular. But I think it's very hard to be a new franchise in a city that, like, if you moved the NFL to Las Vegas, I think that would blow up and it would be huge no matter how bad the team would be. Just like LA with the LA Rams, even though they have a horrible offense and really aren't that great of a product, it's still been a great move for the NFL. Moving to a city that isn't committed to a sport like the Columbus area is to hockey, and if your team isn't good, I think it's going to be a struggle, and it has been a struggle for the Blue Jackets. I'm not an expert at all. You talk right now.
The Blue Jackets' attendance their first 3 years, they actually sold out most of their games, but as it took them until their 9th year, I believe, to finally get in the playoffs, and they fell off a cliff the next 4 years, and they got back in the playoffs. Now they've fallen off a cliff again. But
so there was a lot of interest in the Blue Jackets' first 3 years. I was not totally aware of that. Was it like really popular the first 3 years? I mean, obviously you weren't watching the Blue Jackets. You were probably you were like one the third year.
Based off the attendance numbers, they did pretty well. Although I think that's kind of normal when you're a new team playing in a brand new arena, nationwide arena. It's still relatively new, but gosh, I don't know how big the Blue Jackets can go. I mean, there's a very good possibility the Blue Jackets could win 3 Stanley Cups in a row, and they wouldn't even be that close to Buckeye football. Because here, I would say it's the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth favorite team in Columbus.
Yeah, that's a great quote. Ohio State is the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth favorite team in Columbus. Now, I didn't watch any NHL last night, but I couldn't help but seeing on Twitter this rookie for who even? Gosh, don't tell me. Yes, I was gonna say Toronto, but I didn't remember the Maple Leafs name, so I was just pardon me on that. I'm not a big hockey fan. How is he this year? I saw a tweet that you kind of compared this year's Maple Leafs to the 2004 Cavs. Can you expand on what you think of that rookie? Say his name because I forgot. Austin Matthews. And how do you think that he's going to do, and also the Maple Leafs this year?
I think pretty much Austin Matthews is a great player. We saw it last night, scoring 4 goals in your NHL debut. I don't know what more you need to know, but he's a great player who's stuck on a bad team. Toronto still has a long way to go, although they do have competent leadership. They have Mike Babcock, a former Stanley Cup winning head coach for the Red Wings, coaching them, but I think they have the right executives in place, but they still have a long way to go as an organization.
Okay, so you expect a rebuilding year, kind of like LeBron's first couple years in Cleveland. And that will wrap it up for this episode of FHS Season Tickets. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more season ticket videos.